Welcome everybody once again to the Sikha of the week. One of the Sikhas of the week, Nasso Beis in Lakut Sikhas Chelek Yud Gimel, page 20 that is. The Pasuk Uvabay Moshe Goyme Ledaber Ite Goyme. Moshe Rabbeinu came into the Oil Moed and the Eibusha spoke to him there. Vayishma Esakel Medaber Elov. He heard the voice of the Eibusha speaking to him. Vayedaber Elov. The Eibusha speaks to him. Farish Rashi, so Rashi says, Vayedaber Elov Lamayit Aaron min adibros. The Eibusha speaks to Moshe Rabbeinu. This is to exclude Aaron from hearing the Eibusha speaking. Kavonas Rashi bepashtusi. The intention of Rashi's words is simple. Hateves Vayedaber Elov hein miyasaras l'chayre. These words Vayedaber Elov are extra. Kikvar nemel lefneze. It says right before this in the pasuk, Vayishma esakel medaber Elov. Moshe Rabbeinu hears the voice of the Eibusha speaking to him. V'lachei mefarish shehichbel hakosov lahadgish shahadibur hoya Elov el Moshe dafke. The pasuk says it again to emphasize that it's in fact only Moshe that heard the voice of the Eibusha, olamayit Aaron min adibros, excluding Aaron HaKohen from hearing the dibros. Following this Rashi, after he explains these words, Vayedaber Elov, Maitekus Hatevos, Vayishma Sakoil. Rashi brings from the pasuk what it says, Vayishma Sakoil, that he heard the voice. Umefarish, and Rashi explains, Yachol Koil Namoch. I would think that this was a low voice. Talmud Loimar Es HaKoil. So the pasuk says Es HaKoil, that it was a strong voice. Hu HaKoil Shenidbar Imai B'Sinai. This is the same voice that spoke with Moshe Rabbeinu at the time of Matan Torah by Sinai. Ukishemagia LePesach, when it came to the door of the Oil Moed, Hayim Nifsak. The voice became interrupted. It did not leave outside of the oil. The Kavanasai Bepashtusi. So here again, the kavanah of Rashi seems to be simple. Shaloshan hakosov es hakoil beheya yidiyah. The voice, the known voice from before, mashmienu shehu hakoil hayidua mekvar. This lets us know that we're speaking about the unique voice that has been heard before, known from before. Hainu hakoil shenidbar im Moshe b'Sinai. The voice that spoke to Moshe Rabbeinu b'Har Sinai. The koil zeh vaday shahaya koil gadol. This was definitely a very powerful voice. Shaharei shomu, I say, kol ashishim ribei anoshim v'noshim v'chulam Yisrael. All 600,000 men, women, and children heard this voice. So that's what Rashi is explaining, that here as well, the voice of the Eibusha speaking to Moshe Rabbeinu was this powerful voice of Har Sinai. B'tzarech lahavin. So there are the following questions on these two Rashis here. Aleph, the first thing that's obvious here, because of Ne'emar, Vayishma Esakoil. First it says in the pasuk that Moshe Rabbeinu heard the Eibusha's voice. V'achakach medaber Elov Vayedaber Elov. Speaking to him, and the Eibusha spoke to him. V'lama mishane Rashi b'sei the pirushei hatevos. Why does Rashi change the order of explaining the words in the pasuk? Umefarish medaber Vayedaber Elov. He explains the words medaber Vayedaber Elov. The Eibusha spoke only to Moshe. Kaidem lepirushei Vayishma Sakoil. Before Rashi explains the earlier part of the pasuk, the voice to describe the great, powerful voice. So it's out of order. As the Rabbi brings over in Order 8, the Maskil David points out this question. The Rabbi brings his pshat, and the Rabbi refutes his pshat. You can take a look in Order 8. Beis Mizeh Shekasav Rashi Yachol Kol Namoch. Rashi begins, I would think to say that the voice of the Eibusha speaking to Moshe Rabbeinu was a low voice. Mashma would seem Shasvara Chitzainis he Shakoil Haya Namoch. That logically speaking, on my own, I would think that in fact it was a low voice. And the pasuk notifies and it tells us a chiddush that this is the voice that spoke to Moshe Rabbeinu by Sinai. So the question is, why would I think on my own to say that this was a low voice? Not an average voice. Al kapanim, al derech haragel, the regular, usual voice that the Eibusha would speak to Moshe Rabbeinu. Why would I think that this was a lower voice, not like the usual? Gimel, another question. To answer why it says with a hey, the known voice, The only thing that would be enough for Rashi to explain is that this is the famous voice that spoke to the Yidden by Har Sinai. Why does Rashi continue and explain? When the voice reached the opening of the Oil Moed, the voice was stopped. This is seemingly not at all relevant to what Rashi is explaining here. Dalit, another question. Lama maitik Rashi gam tevois vayishma es hakoil. Why does Rashi bring from the pasuk the two words vayishma es? The word Rashi is explaining is the word hakoil, the hay of the word koil, to explain that this is a powerful and famous voice that spoke to the Yidden by Har Sinai. As the Rebbe very often says in Sichos on Rashi, that even the words that Rashi chooses to bring from the pasuk is precise. Not only is it precise, but that's actually a key to seeing what it is that Rashi is coming to address in the pasuk. So basically, the Rebbe wants to understand the order of the way Rashi is mefarish the pasuk here, and also to understand the teichen, the content of this Rashi, that I would think that it was a low voice on my own. That's what I would think. And there's a chiddush that it was a loud voice. Why is that a chiddush? And what's the point of Rashi saying that the voice stopped when it came to the opening of Oil Moed? So the answer here is as follows. Only after Rashi explains that the extra two words Vaydaber Elov teach me that Aaron HaKohen is excluded from hearing the Eibush to speak. That Aaron HaKohen, even while he was present in the Oil Moed, Loi Shomas Adibrais, he did not hear the Eibush speaking. So this brings the simple logical conclusion: how is this possible? Why did Aaron HaKohen not hear the Eibush speaking? It must have had a natural reason. We don't have to resort to saying that it was a miracle that caused this to happen. Simply, I would think that there's something natural here that is the cause for this. And what is that? This was a low voice, and therefore Aaron couldn't hear it. And what's with Moshe Rabbeinu? But Moshe Rabbeinu that we find earlier, it says that he was a very mighty individual. And Moshe Rabbeinu was in Midian, and the shepherds came and Megarish, they threw away the daughters of Yisrael from the well over there. Moshe got up and helped them. So Moshe Rabbeinu was able to fight against all of these shepherds. So we see that Moshe Rabbeinu was a gibar. So Yesh Loimar, we could apply that over here and as well and say, Shekol Chushav Ativim Hoy Bizgabris. All of his senses had a special, unique power. He had a very strong sense of hearing as well, which is relevant here. Gam Berach Aaron, even comparing to Aaron. And therefore, Vishama Sakel, he did hear this low voice of the Eibishter speaking to him. Mashenkin Aaron HaKohen did not hear the words that the Eibishter was speaking. So it could all be explained naturally. And that's why I would logically say that the voice was a low voice. And this would also explain this, that the pasuk over here tells us that Moshe Rabbeinu heard the voice. The pasuk here talking about how the Eibishter communicates and how the Eibishter speaks, it immediately explains and describes it from the standpoint of Moshe Rabbeinu, how he heard. Why is the pasuk emphasizing the Vayishma, how it was heard by Moshe? Because the fact that the Eibishter communicates and speaks only to Moshe, El Moshe levadei lemayit Aaron, excluding Aaron. This is because only the Moshe Rabbeinu had this special sense of hearing that he was able to hear the voice of the Eibishter, the words that the Eibishter communicates with him. So therefore the pasuk emphasizes by Yishma that this is a unique power that Moshe Rabbeinu had. So now we can understand Rashi and the order of Rashi, right? Only after Rashi says that Aaron HaKohen was excluded from the Dibros, and you would think to say that therefore the reason is that there was a low voice, then comes the next Rashi, Vayishma Sakoil, explaining what was written earlier in the pasuk after he explained that Aaron couldn't hear the voice. So this is Rashi's intention. And Rashi says, Yochel kol namoch, I would think to say that it was a low voice. Rashi is addressing this point after he explained Vayadaber Elov. Only after we know this excludes Aaron from hearing the Eibishter speaking. I would think to say that the reason is because there was a low voice, and therefore Aaron couldn't hear this. So therefore Rashi comes and clarifies now that no, the Torah writes the word es hakoil. Hakoil means the powerful voice. Hu hakoil shenidbar imai b'Sinai. This is the voice that spoke to Moshe Rabbeinu at Har Sinai. Shebevadai hayakoil gadol kanal, which definitely was a very powerful voice, as mentioned before, that all of Klal Yisrael, men, women, and children heard the Eibishter's voice. If so now how could it be that Aaron HaKohen did not hear this voice, even while he was present in the Oil Mayit together with Moshe Rabbeinu? The fact that Aaron did not hear this voice, we can't now say that this was natural. This was a unique miracle that occurred, that only Moshe Rabbeinu hears this voice. So now, according to this, when the Torah writes the words Vayishma, what's the Torah stressing? When it writes Vayishma Sakoil, that Moshe Rabbeinu, heard the voice, this is a big chiddush here, Sharak Moshe Shoma Sakoil, that only Moshe Rabbeinu heard this voice. Meaning, as far as the quality, the power of the voice itself, it was a loud voice. Mitzad the Vayedaber, Aaron should be able to hear it. Vayishma, but there was a special chiddush and a special nest that happened, that only Moshe Rabbeinu actually heard this voice. So we now understand the order of Rashi's words, and what Rashi is coming to clarify, that this was not something that was natural. This happened through a nest. But if so, based on this, we have another question here. If we're talking about a low voice, or at least not a very powerful voice, move on. It's understood by Moshe Rabbeinu has to come, enter into the Oil Mayid to hear the Eibishter's voice. But if this is the same voice, and the same powerful voice that was spoken to Moshe Rabbeinu by Har Sinai, the nature of this powerful voice is that it could be heard even on the outside, even outside of the El Mayid. And even if it's a very powerful voice and it comes even out of the El Mayid, we understand why only Moshe Rabbeinu hears it. Just as in the case that we say now that Moshe Rabbeinu and Aaron HaKohen were inside the Oil Mayid, and only Moshe Rabbeinu heard and not Aaron, which was a miracle. So the same would be true if the voice comes out of the Oil Mayid, that only Moshe Rabbeinu hears it and not the rest of Klal Yisrael. If so, the question is, why was it necessary for Moshe Rabbeinu to come inside the Oil Mayid to hear the voice of the Eibishter communicating with him? So, to answer this question, which comes up after Rashi tells us that this was a very powerful voice, like by Har Sinai, Rashi has to continue and explain, this voice, when it reached the doorway of the Oil Mayid, the voice was stopped. It would not go out of the oil. So it's a meres, meaning the nature of this voice was powerful enough. It should be heard even outside of the El Mayid. A miracle occurs that it was stopped, it was interrupted, and it did not leave outside the El Mayid. And therefore Moshe Rabbeinu comes inside the Oil Mayid to hear the voice. So this was yet a second miracle, a unique miracle that occurred over here with this voice. The first one is the fact that Aaron HaKohen couldn't hear that. That l'chayda we could understand because Moshe Rabbeinu is communicating specifically with Moshe Rabbeinu. He's the one that's the teacher to teach Torah and communicate the words of the Eibusher to all of Klal Yisrael. And Aaron HaKohen has to receive it from Moshe Rabbeinu. But then there was yet another ness here. That the voice, although it was a thundering, powerful voice that could have went to all of Klal Yisrael outside, although no one else would hear it, but it would have came out of the Oyel Mayed, yet the voice remained dafke inside the Oyel Mayed. What's the purpose of this ness? Why is the voice dafke in the Oyel Mayed? So that's what the Rebbe will focus on now in the Hemshech here. So the wine, the deepest secrets that there are in this pshat that Rashi explains here in the pasuk is as follows. This itself needs additional explanation. Since this voice naturally should have been heard very far, even outside the Oyel Mayid, so what's the point of this ness that the voice was stopped when it arrived at the entrance of the Oyel Mayid? That Moshe Rabbeinu has to enter into the Oyel Mayid when the Eibusher speaks to him. There's a unique nest that takes place to stop the voice. We know that Rebbe always brings in other places from the Drasha Saran that the Eibusher does not perform a nest for no reason. So there has to be something that some point over here to this nest to stop the voice from leaving the Oyel Mayid. So the pshat in this, on a deeper level, is as follows. Rashi, and it's explained in the words that Rashi says, Hu hakoil shenidbar imay b'Sinai. This is the same voice of the Eibishter that spoke to Moshe Rabbeinu at Har Sinai. So we're going to compare what happened now to the way it happened by Matan Torah on Har Sinai. B'koil shenidbar imay b'Sinai. The voice of the Eibishter that speaks to Moshe Rabbeinu and to all Yidden by Har Sinai. We also find that this voice was stopped. Over there, the hefsek was not was not in place, that the voice didn't go to the furthest distance possible. It did. Like in the case of the Mishkan, that the voice was limited in its place. Rather, elabizman, the voice was stopped and interrupted in the time of Matan Torah, meaning shalachrei Matan Torah. Soon after, right after the Eibusher completes saying the Aseres HaDibris, B'mshayich HaYovel, and the shofar is blown, Nifsak HaKoil the Matan Torah, the voice of Matan Torah, the thundering and powerful voice and revelation of Matan Torah is interrupted, U'kamai Shepirish Rashi, and as Rashi says there, K'sheyimshech HaYovel, Hu Simin Siluk HaShchina, when the shofar is blown, this is a sign that the Shechina is removed, V'hafsakas HaKoil, and that the voice of the Eibishter of Aseres HaDibris is ended. So there was a hafsakas hakel, the voice of the Eibishter that's powerful, thundering, and unlimited, and should continue eternally, became interrupted. The Eibishter stopped the voice and removed himself of the revelation of Matan Torah. So what's the reason why it happens then? The reason why the voice of the Eibishter at Matan Torah was interrupted. And that's understood. The reason is, if the voice of the Eibush would continue, even following Matan Torah, this would negate the possibility of Yidden doing their own Aveda, serving the Eibush with their own choice, with their own free choice. If the Eibush is continuously, the voice of the Eibush is continuously being heard in the background, or even more than just in the background, how do you have your own independence to serve or make a choice to be connected to the Eibishter? When there's such a great revelation, such a great revelation of the Eibishter saying, Anoichi Havaya Elikecha, and the Rebbe in the Haaretz points out what all these words mean. Anoichi, referring to the very essence of the Eibishter that can't even be hinted in a name. Havaya, which refers to a high level of the Eibishter, Shmi Havaya Lo Nidaiti Lehem, as it says in Ve'era, and Elikecha, that this is being infused in you, the Eibishter's Kayach becomes your energy. There's no place for an individual to choose the opposite of what the Eibishter wants. So this would negate any independence, any free choice of any person. So this is true regarding Matan Torah. So Keinu Gam, the same also applies here. The voice of the Eibishter being stopped in the space, only reaching to the entrance of the Oyel Moed and not going out further than that. This is the same voice, and here there's the same purpose of stopping this voice, like it was at Har Sinai. If the voice of the Eibishter would have come out and been drawn into the world, being firmly established and constant in the world, even outside the Oyel Moed, the entire world would essentially become an Oyel Moed. And as the Rebbe brings in Order 23, what's the point of Oyel Moed? The name of Oyel Moed means the place where Moshe Rabbeinu meets, so to speak, with the Eibishter, and the Eibishter communicates with him there. So if Moshe Rabbeinu hears the voice of the Eibishter outside of the Oyel Moed, so then in essence, even outside, in anywhere where the Eibishter's voice reaches, becomes a place like an Oyel Moed. If you have such a powerful revelation outside of the Oyel Moed, so then this takes away the ability of anybody to have their independence and choose on their own, to serve the Eibishter from their own choice, from below. So that's the reason why there was this extra nest that happened over here, that the voice was interrupted to allow for the Aveda of Yidden, allow for their independence and for their Bchira Chavshis. Another important point, this is the purpose of creation. This is the Eibishter's desire, that a world, a Tachtainim, should exist. A world that feels itself as independent, as a Tachtain, should exist, and there the dwelling of the Eibishter should be established. This refers to such an entity which is low, that you do not have revealed in it the voice and the communication of the Eibishter there. A place that's, so to speak, far. To draw and reveal the voice of the Eibishter here, and the person through his Aveda should create this dwelling for the Eibishter in a place which is a Tachtain. So from here we have the lesson for every Yid. A person should not say to himself, I am happy, it's enough that I serve the Eibishter in an Oyel Moed, meaning Ba'ala Shal Teira, in the tent of Teira. The Siachet Sham im Kaila Shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu, learning the words of Teira, being unified with the voice of the Eibishter, with the words of Teira. Why would I bother with anything going on outside of this tent of Teira? Which in this case would refer actually within the life of the person himself, Begufi, whether my body is included in serving the Eibishter, the Nefesh Bahamis, is my animal soul included as well, the Chelki Ba'olam, my portion in the world that the Eibishter gave me, am I bringing everything else to be connected to the Eibishter? I'm not going to bother with all that. I'll go into the Bismedrish, and there I'll get lost and absorbed in the words of Teira, and everything else I don't have to worry about. So here we see that this is not the kavanah. Ki ikir avedasei shel adam, the main aveda of a person. Af shebekol echad ve'echad yesh mibchinas Moshe Rabbeinu olav hashalom. There is the level of Moshe Rabbeinu olav hashalom within every single yid, which enters into the Oyel Moed and hears the voice of the Eibishter in the Oyel Moed. But all of Klal Yisrael, where is their place? Eina b'teich Oyel Moed atzmai, is not that they are found inside the Oyel Moed. The words of the Eibishter have to be repeated in the entire world. What was heard inside of the Oyel Moed has to be repeated on the outside. As kol ha'olam kuloi, and to turn the entire world into a dira u'mishkan loy yizbarach, a dwelling for the Eibishter. Blessed be He.